Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is the Papa Joe Show, where Papa Joe knows. I'm your host, Papa Joe. Today, we're going to take a look at housing. We haven't done it in a little while. It's time to take a look at it. It's the middle of the year. Should be an interesting subject for today. We're going to look at some statistics and some very weird stuff that's going on. I think a lot of people are not realizing what's coming down the pipe later on this year. And this fall will not be a very pretty time. But there is some good news for those of you who are looking for something, trying to figure out when or how or what to do. So we're going to check into that today. So do me a favor, if you are enjoying the content on the shows, give us a subscribe. Let me know if you like the content by giving me a subscribe. And then if you get towards the end of the show here and you like what it was, smash the likes, because what that does is let YouTube know that it was worth other people watching. Anyhow, we are going to jump right into it today, if I can push the right button. We do this live here. So consumer confidence in housing may have plateaued, which is a very unique, interesting way of putting that. Because if you go back and look at the charts, and I couldn't find it before the show, I wish I'd had time to, but Economic Ninja has a really good stuff that he brings up those different pieces of the puzzle, if you will, that will allow you to see a plateau. So in 2008, 2009, 2006, 2007, somewhere in that ballpark, it literally goes up and then it plateaus as far as housing, economy, everything. And then it just falls off a cliff. It's like that break right there. In your July, August, you're going to have that little break right there, and it's going to just, and that's going to happen. But the actual confidence from consumers has plateaued. Very unique way of putting it. I don't know what it's like in most everybody's else's areas, but if you are out there trying to find a house, trying to look at different pieces of the puzzle, interest rates are at, where are we? They are just under 7%. Okay. This was updated 2 days ago, it looks like. But I will go ahead and tell you right now, that's above 7%. For most areas now, and that's for a really good credit score. Okay. The credit score system is a bunch of bullcrap. They print all this money to pay this off, make you pay taxes. Anyways, it's a big mess. I say all that because this is sitting at 7.5% for regular, normal, everyday people. If you have a normal average credit score, you're almost at 8 or above 8%. On a $300,000 home, that is more than half of someone's take-home pay on a monthly basis. Not physically possible to sustain that long term. So yeah, it's plateaued because just because of the interest rates, everyone got used to those 3% interest rates, blah blah blah. Well, housing went up to match that interest rate. Well, now interest rates are going up. Housing is supposed to decrease because people can't physically pay for those types of houses, not on a monthly basis. I mean, you go $400,000 or $500,000 home, you're looking at $4,000 and $5,000 a month, almost, which is stupid, especially if you tack on your interest rates. I'm sorry, not just interest rates. You tack on your home insurance and the property taxes. That's just stupid. And then most people can't even do 20% down payment. So there you have the extra payments of your PMI on there as well. It's not pretty. I'll put it that way. If you do a scenario, if you think about the average, regular, everyday Joe, whatever you want to call it, where you can sit there and say, house costs this much, all these other fees on top of it, your monthly, you have to be making some significant money to be able to even just do a regular, normal average. That's, I don't even know what the national average is. I think it's like stupid low because, I don't know, depending on where you live, Austin's crazy, Seattle's crazy. Housing is falling in California because everyone's leaving California. Housing is falling in New York because everyone's leaving New York. Actually met a guy yesterday that he was from New York, from Brooklyn. Great, cool little guy. He's like, man, people are so nice down here. People are, normal, everyday people. Housing is just so much cheaper. Food is so much cheaper. And I'm like, yep. Transplants, different areas of the country, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm grateful you get out of the crazy mess. I mean, you're safer outside of those places, to be honest with you. But housing, the confidence people have been having in housing is plateaued. It has. Washington, July 7th, 2022. The Fannie Mae Housing Purchase Sentiment Index, or HPI or SI, remained mostly flat in June. We're in July now, increasing by only 0.4 points to 66.0 as difficult affordability conditions continue to weigh on the housing market. Look, guys, gals, if you sell your home, you can't afford to sell your home. Most people have lower interest rates right now, like 3%, 4%, or less, even in some cases, depending on when you were able to successfully get in there and go do that. You need to understand that people aren't, this isn't, people aren't able to sell their homes. So it's creating an artificial shortening of inventory. The only way to get around that is for builders to build. Well, builders can't build because they can't get material because material costs too much or is not available. You see what's happening? It's like this all of a sudden everything just coming to a grinding halt. Well, you think about what's coming down the pipe with these companies. People don't have money to spend in the stores. Think about going to a hardware store or just a regular retailer in general. People or Amazon. Amazon's been laying people off like crazy. Why? They're not making money anymore because people aren't spending money. They're pivoting and they're spending money on things they need, not things they want. When you pivot to those types of things, when you start to see that pivot, people start to not spend as much. This is while the circulation just decreases. That's what I've been trying to say. Housing is a very much so a linchpin for this. I've been trying to say this for a while. It is not going to be pretty. We are seeing June's numbers and it's pretty much flat. You get June, July, maybe August, and you got 2 to 3 months of flat. It's going to come down from there because what's going to happen is the Fed's going to stop pausing its rates hikes, and it's going to pause until it hurts, until everyone says, drop the rates, drop the rates, drop the rates, and they're going to drop the rates. The entire economy is going to collapse out from under it. And I think that's going to happen by maybe August, September. That's my just prediction. Take it with a grain of salt. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Just what I'm looking at and thinking about. Anyhow, let's see. Even so, a significant majority of consumers continue to report that it is a bad time to buy a home, as they have since mid 2021. The full index is up 1.2 points year over year. Confidence in the housing market appears to have plateaued at a relatively low level, suggesting that many customers may be coming to terms with elevated mortgage rates and high home prices, said Doug Duncan, Fannie Mae Senior Vice President and Chief Economist. Home prices continue to be supported by the tight supply of homes available for sale. And compared to the end of last year, fewer respondents today believe home prices will decrease over the next 12 months. See, I think that's probably not true because it's going to fall out of the sky. The rates went up, the housing prices went up. Rates going up makes house prices go down because that regular thing. I was talking to a real estate agent yesterday. The rates in 2000, where was it? 2006, 2007, those rates were where we are now, but the home prices were significantly lower. People could still buy homes. Most people don't take home in a single check more enough to pay for a $5,000 monthly payment for a home, or a $4,000 monthly, or even $3,000 a month on a mortgage is still a lot for a lot of people. It's just a lot. Now, if you think about paying rent, most rent's between $1,500 and $2,000, $2,500 a month, and even then, that's still high for some people. It is going to be very, 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 very crazy. You gotta understand, home prices have to come down, or the rates have to come down. One or the other has to come down. People can't move for a job because they can't afford to go do that. In my area, The cost of living has gone up so much that the regular cost of living increases that people get for any kind of corporate related jobs, they're not keeping up at all. And people it's just mind-boggling. So yeah, home sales and consumers' ability to buy a home has plateaued significantly. Fannie Mae's Purchase Sentiment Index, or HPSI, increased in June. We already went over this. The index is up by 1.2 points compared to the same time last year. Regarding a reading full research report, additional information. Good, bad, time to buy. The percentage of respondents said it was a good time to buy a home increased from 19 to 22%, while the percentage who say it's a bad time to buy has decreased from 80% to 78%. As a result, the net share of those who say it's a good time to buy increased 5 percentage points month over month. Good, bad time to sell. The percentage, this is the other problem here, guys. The percentage of respondents who say it is a good time to sell a home decreased from 65 to 64%, while the percentage who say it's a bad time to sell a home increased from 34 to 36%. As a result, the net share of those who say it's a good time to sell decreased 3% because they can't go buy another home after they sell their home. Do you see how that it's just it doesn't work? It's going to come to a grinding halt. The home price expectations. The percentage of respondents who say prices will go up in the next 12 months decreased from 39 to 36%, while the percentage who say the prices will decrease or will go down decreased from 20 to 26%. Share of the homes the share who thinks home prices will stay the same increased from 33 to 33%. As a result, the net share say prices will go up in the next 12 months remain unchanged month over month. Interesting. There's also the mortgage rate expectations. They think that it will go down in the next 12 months, at least 1 percentage point month over month. Job loss concerns. This is something people are not paying attention to. The nation's largest retailer is Amazon. Or sorry, it's Walmart. Amazon is online. I don't know what it is right now. They're neck and neck. They compete. They're laying people off, y'all. Closing stores. It's not good. Household income has not increased. Job loss has increased. Very, very, very big. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Net share of those, this is I'm not going to read all this, but the net share of household income is significantly higher than it was 12 months ago because of COVID, guys. Because of that. 1 percentage point. It's only up 1 percentage point. Guys, this is Fannie Mae. They're not giving you the whole picture. They're not telling you. They're not accounting for the job losses. They're not actually accounting for these things. They look at the data from the last month. They don't look at it going into the future. They don't look at what's been taking place and going, oh, this down the road is going to be this, this, and this, and this. Things aren't going to be great. I'm not trying to do a doom and gloom show here. I'm just trying to point the facts out, guys. This is not going to be too fantastic because home prices are going to slam down because people are going to lose their jobs because they're not going to be able to afford their homes. No one's going to be able to sell their home because they can't buy the next house. Even the house next door to them, they could not sell their home and buy the home next to them because the daggum rates alone make it to where that, let's assume 3% interest rate on a $500,000 home. That's what, I don't know, maybe right at $2,000 a month with everything. It's something like that. They go sell that home and get a 7% interest rate. The home right next to them is going to cost almost double that, guys. That's stupid. Or probably more than double because the interest rate is more than double. People just can't do it. They won't do it. 6 leading real estate economists and pros on what to expect from the housing market this winter. Prediction 1, mortgage rates will continue their downward trek. Really? because that looks like it's going up. But okay. Prediction 2, home price gains will slow even further. Yeah, kind of don't disagree with that. Don't disagree with that at all. Let's see. December's growth. Let's see. The milestone of single-digit price growth is really a continuation of the moderation that began in the summer when prices were growing at a pace of 18% year over year, says Danielle Hale, chief economist at Realtor.com. The report reveals that the median price of homes for sale has increased 8.1% annually in January, which is slightly less than December's growth, with the normal or national median list price remaining stable at $400,000 in January. So the national median list price is $400,000. $400,000 at 7-ish%, 7 to 8% for the regular everyday people. I know this is delayed. I was looking at rates earlier. It's like if you got you'd have to have excellent credit score to have that right there. So you're between 7 and 8%, the average regular everyday people. That's a lot on a $400,000 house. That's more than people take home for 50% of their take home pay. Expect even slower growth this month. Home price gains will slow even further in February. How old is this? This is in February. That's funny. This is an older one. This is to look up for this year. Yeah, so there you go. They will continue the downward track. Nope, they didn't, did they? Home price gains will even slower. That would be interesting to see what that median is. I didn't look at the data on this, but this is still pretty relevant. Prediction 3, buyers have more room to negotiate. Not yet, but I am starting to see homes come on the market. Seller incentives, all closing costs taken care of, which is really weird. There was someone I was talking to recently. They were buying a home. They put an offer in, and someone beat them out. Right. So, well, that happened, but when they did that other, they came back to them and they were like, they did the inspection. They found all these problems, and the seller was like, "I'll give you this for that. I'll give you this for that." They were trying to get rid of the house. They could not keep the house. Job loss. I don't know what it was, but the furnace needed to be replaced. The roof needed to be worked on. There was some other stuff that needed to take place, and they were just kind of like, you know what? We're not gonna do this because this is stupid. we can't justify the extra money we would have to spend to fix this. And the seller was throwing money at them to take the house. Nope. It's definitely going to be interesting. We shall see. Prediction 4, the market is on a slow path to normalcy. I don't think it is. We are in a plateau, meaning we're going to have a collapse. I don't think it's going to go up from here. I really don't. It's not sustainable. These things aren't sustainable. The home prices have not decreased to match the rates. People can only afford so much per month. If they're not paying cash, people can only afford so much per month. Period. The average regular people across the country, in our country, cannot afford that type of house. It's about to collapse. It is. It has to. If you raise rates more, which they're probably not going to anymore because they stopped. We'll see. They keep saying they're gonna, but I don't know. If they do, and they push this thing to a breaking point, like a very, very strong breaking point, it's not going to be pretty, guys. Mortgage rate forecast gives clues when rates will drop. Really? Forecast mortgage rates is always an iffy proposition, and that's especially the case for July because uncertainty about the trajectory of the inflation rate with the Federal Reserve will do about it. Interesting. The Fed's goal of reducing the inflation rate to 2%, it's not happening, guys. They've already raised rates so much, you can't absorb the amount of money they printed. I told you guys, I've told you many times, From 1913 to 2020, they printed 20% of the US dollar supply. From 2020 to today, last I checked, it was more than 80%. That's an insane amount of money that they printed. You can't absorb that by raising interest rates just a little bit at a time. It doesn't work. It's impossible. However, cryptocurrency can. Blockchain technology and the Bitcoin and the Litecoin, all the different cryptos out there, they can absorb that money. And I think they will, because in my opinion, just my opinion, y'all, crypto is the exit strategy. Without a decisive improvement on the inflation front, the Fed is likely to raise the short-term federal funds rate at the end of July 25 to 26 meeting. They're going to raise it. They're probably going to raise it. We'll see what happens. Just so y'all know, it's going to make everything worse. That's their goal. They want to see job losses. They literally saying it. We haven't seen sustainable job losses. And we had the report that came out. There was 200 something thousand jobs, non-farm jobs added. Not a bad thing. This is backwards, y'all. And it's just irritating because it's just crazy. U.S. housing market could be headed for a meltdown, economist warns. Yes, there's a lot of people out there saying it's going to be a meltdown, and I think it's going to, which would give it a great buying opportunity for anyone who's ready for it. But at the same time, it's going to hurt a lot of people in the process, which is not cool. Why can't they just leave this stuff alone and let it just be normal? You wouldn't have such high housing pricing if it wasn't for inflation. You wouldn't have to raise rates if you didn't have inflation. Did you know that if you just had a stagum asset-backed currency, like the ones that BRICS is building, that will most likely be launched at the end of this month, the beginning of next, that is an asset-backed digital currency, going to be very, very game-changing as far as the world global economy is concerned, and is going to significantly impact the U.S. because the U.S. dollars will come flooding back here. Because China owns our bonds. Russia, all these other countries own our bonds, the U.S. bonds. They'll cash in, get the U.S. dollars, change it into their cryptocurrency, and then boom, it's gone. Do y'all understand? The U.S. housing market could be on the verge of a meltdown, and economists warned following this week's release data showing a collapse in home builder confidence in July. So there's that too. Home builders are not, they can't get the stupid supplies. They can't go get these different houses. They're new home houses that are built. The vast majority are out there. They are massively overpriced. Massively overpriced. U.S. home builder confidence plummeted 12 points to 55% or 55 in July, according to the latest data from National Association of Home Builders Wells Fargo Housing Market Index released on Monday. Sentiment has declined for 7 straight months and is now at its lowest level since May 2020, though more trouble potentially ahead for homeowners. Home builders have been in denial about the extent of the drop in demand. There isn't enough demand because no one can buy that priced home at these rates. They can't build the home for cheaper, much cheaper, because the materials cost that much. Do you see how this merry-go-round just gets clogged and stuck and comes to a grind? It's not going to work. It will come to a halt. It will have to unwind. It's like a spring, a coil that's been tightened so tight. It can only tighten so much before it has to be released, or it breaks, snaps, and becomes unusable. So one of two things. It's going to have to unwind, or it is going to completely just implode and just be destroyed. When a spring breaks, you can't reuse it anymore. Not for its intended purpose that it was for initially. It just doesn't work. Home builders have been okay. I just read that. Sorry about that. Let's see. There's a drop in demand. Despite mortgage applications falling, which I have confirmed with multiple friends of mine who are in that field, yes, they have had a significant, legitimate stop in applications. They're falling by more than a quarter over the first half of the year, and no end in sight has declined. Again, I've asked, like I said, I have a few friends that are in that field, and I just just this week I've asked, how is business? Well, it's completely come to a grinding halt. I have nothing in the pipeline, and I'm finishing out the last ones I have. That's the response from all of them. Nothing in the pipeline. People cannot afford that mortgage. You are going to buy a shack of a house, and you're going to pay as much as you would have paid before the 2020 problems on something that was significantly nicer than anything out there. It's just, you got to understand. You got to just, oh my goodness. It is going to be crazy. Now they're acknowledging the reality, guys. Pretty soon, anyone who has bought a home in recent months will be sitting on a loss. I think by the end of this month, it will be at a loss, guys. And it really hurts me to say that. It hurts to say it. It hurts to think about it. Again, if you're ready to take advantage of what's coming, good on you. You were wise. You waited. You pushed through. You persevered. Fantastic. Bravo. But you're going to be taking it from somebody who's probably going to be weeping across the table. And it's not going to be pretty. Next time around, I don't know if there will be a next time around, especially if we get to asset-backed digital currency stuff. Housing market inventory is so tight that only one of the nation's 100 largest markets saw a home price decline in May. So this is in the past, guys. I get notifications for multiple markets on my phone, on my devices. The majority of the notifications are price decreases, and I'm not talking little price decreases. I'm talking significant price decreases. 25,000, 50,000 or more depending on the value of the home. It's actually pretty crazy, and they're still sitting on the market. I hate it, guys. I hate it. At the height of the housing correction last fall, 92 of the nation's 100 largest housing markets, tracked by Black Knight, saw a month-over-month home price decline in October. At the time, many economists thought it was the start of the housing market reckoning, for the Fed Chair Jerome Powell put it last fall. Difficult housing correction. However, to the dismay of some home buyers, the housing market has shown a great deal of resilience. Through the first half of 2023, housing prices have firmed up fast. Yeah, because people aren't selling the homes they have, because the mortgages they have on those homes are at an actual sustainable point. Even if they have to move for a job, even if they have to move because, I don't know, something happened, even if they wanted to move to a better school location, they can't, because they cannot afford to buy the next house. It's not physically possible. Wages haven't gone up, and now since wages haven't gone up, people aren't spending enough in the stores. It's just again, everything is literally about to come to a grinding halt. You got about 2 months, in my opinion, or less. I think all this stuff with the ETFs, with Bitcoin, and other different things, I think that people are really going to have a hard time when they recognize that crypto is going to be skyrocketing in value. Home prices are going to be plummeting in value, and you're going to have this unwinding, impossible, absolute destruction of the U.S. economy. And since the rest of the world is saying screw the dollar, they're going to be fine, because they're going to have an asset-backed digital currency, because they're recognizing the entire global economy is relying on the U.S. dollar, and the United States economy. If it collapses, the world collapses. So they have a contingency plan that they will then no longer need the U.S. dollar, and that will even more so destroy the U.S. economy. Cryptocurrency strategy, guys and gals. In my opinion, it's one of the only ways you're going to be able to get out of this mess, because it's going to explode, but everything else implodes. And if you think, people are like, well, how do I buy a house with this, that, and the other? Well, guess what? There are platforms out there you can do that. You can buy a house with crypto. You can buy a house as an NFT. You can buy and get a loan on your crypto. People have been asking me recently about that. I don't really use those services. I never have. I don't really like them. There's lots of them out there. Um, there has been. I think a lot of the big ones got destroyed with FTX and all that debacle. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Daddy-O, I don't disagree. It is Friday. It is a fantastic day, and I absolutely love it. Hey, listen, as far as the afternoon Patreon show, since we had the 4th of July this week, I was not able to do a recording for the Suppressed History, so we're going to not have a Patreon show this afternoon, but we will be recording and having everything set up for next week. So stick around for that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to join the Patreon. It's linked right here. It's also in the description of the video. It's only $5 a month. It helps support the channel. If you like the content, you more than the subscription or subscribing here and liking it here. If you like even more and you want to support, just jump over there. Some people are there just to say thank you, and that to me it touches my heart. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Y'all are great. So, anyways, but that is where I have been doing a series with a guest on my show, going over suppressed history. Very unique subjects, very interesting subjects, and we take the gloves off, and it's been kind of fun to do that. So check it out. There's a few videos already out there, but you got to join the Patreon to get a hold of those. So anyhow, good morning to you, Busy Mountain. It's afternoon here, so I hope you had a great night's rest. Lithia, afternoon. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here as always. Let's see who else we got here today. We've got, let's see if I can say this right. At Lean Rebel, I guess that's how it is. It is good to see you. Yet lower half the price. Yeah, it needs to be much lower. Let's see. Cost of living is increased, have been a joke. They really have been. Before they started printing and giving away all the cash. Yep. People used people who needed the money for things used that printed money to buy things they didn't really need to buy instead of like paying for debt or investing it or whatever. It's crazy. And last year, how many of these people thinking it's a good time to buy, mean in an other state after they sell in some state like Cali, New York, Virginia, and are moving to buy somewhere else, Texas, Tennessee, Georgia, yes, Alabama even, Florida even. They're selling these massive huge homes and they're buying these massive huge homes and it's just taking it up. Cost of moving is a lot too, probably $50,000 on average per house. That's insane, especially if you're moving across country. Whoa. Clint Westwood is in the house. Thanks for being here, dude. Check out his YouTube. Definitely worth good content there for sure. Housing costs are unsustainable in most areas. You are not kidding. Lithia, your son pays $1,600 a rent for studio in Tampa? Whoa. That's insane. For a studio? Ay, ay, ay. Wow. Thank you, Mr. UI Fang. I appreciate you being here, and I am hopefully you are enjoying the content for sure. It's good to see you guys. We got Tom in the house, dude. What is up, brother? Thanks for being here. I do appreciate it. By the way, definitely need to catch up with you, man. Had some fun stuff to talk to you about. It's good to see you, man. Let's see who else we got here today. Saw a video on YouTube. This girl is paying $650 a month for a 100 square foot apartment. 100 square feet. That's, oh my word. Wow. I think I would go crazy. I think I would go very, very much so crazy. That's insane. Although that does remind me. You say it's in New York. Yeah. I used to work with a guy. He had an 800 square foot apartment in New York. It was like $800,000. This was like in 2000. Man, where was this? It was like 2005, 2006. $800,000 for 800 square feet in New York. Nope. I'm good. Thank you. Let's see who else we got here. That's a good point. I was gonna say, y'all check out Veritasium. Reggie Middleton seems to have this monetizing assets like homes and businesses down pat. Yeah, That's what I've been trying to say. There are things out there that you can buy commercial properties, crypto, pretty cool stuff coming down the pipe. Anyhow, y'all are great. I do appreciate. Oh yeah, Lithia, I'm enjoying the sharing Patreon. Good. Glad to hear it. Check it out. Check out the Patreon. Even if you pop in for 1 month and you check everything out and you don't like it, cool. But at least you got to see the stuff and figure out what it was. Come check it out. It's definitely worth it. We're having some fun with it. So, anyhow, y'all have a beautiful, blessed rest of the day. See you all on Monday. Take it easy and have a good weekend. Bye bye.